Morning, honorable members.
Morning, Chair.
Morning, Chair.
Morning, Chair.
Morning. Good morning. Let's start our meeting, honorable members and officials. Let's bow our heads where we are. Thank you very much. The meeting is officially opened. I'm not going even to waste time because I know for a fact that other honorable members and maybe some other people have to travel. So we don't have much time, but we have to do all what is supposed to be done today and within the time. Lindy, everybody is welcomed. We don't have most the officials today. It's only us as honorable members.
Yes, Chair. Good morning, Chair and members. Yes, Chair.
Morning. Can you confirm the attendance?
Good morning, Chair and members once again, Chair. Today is the 18th of October. I wish to confirm the following members of Parliament that are in attendance, Chair. We have you as the chairperson of this committee. We have member Abrahams. We have member Hlongo. We have member Peterson, Chair. We have member Fanda Merve. We have member Masango. We have member Stock. Member Aris indicated that she will join a bit later. So I have those members that are in attendance thus far. Thank you very much, Chair. And I wish to confirm that we are a quorum. We can adopt the documents and reports that are before us. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Lindy. Will you please then flight the agenda for us?
Recording in progress.
Okay, Chair. There is it order? Can you see it?
Yes, but halfway.
Okay, Chair.
Okay, that's better. Thank you very much, Lindy. The introduction has been done. We know that we are having our support staff, which is also welcomed. And now we have to go to the adoption of the agenda as proposed. Any honorable member?
I move for the adoption, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Vandamere. Any seconder to that?
I second the adoption of the agenda.
Member Peterson. Member Peterson.
Member?
Member Peterson, Chair. Member Madi.
Oh, Medi. Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Medi. Your voice is not clear. Sorry for that. Thank you very much. The agenda has been adopted and seconded. Then let's go straight to the deliberation and adoption of it. Can we give over to Yoli?
Sorry, Chair. Yoli is having a problem. She asked, I don't know if she'll be able just to speak a sentence. Her voice is gone. She had a flu. She's been treating it since Friday, but it sounds very horrible. Maybe she can speak one word or two just as evidence that she's not fine. I'll present.
There's no need for that. There's no need for that. But she must treat it because this flu takes a very long time. If it started on Friday, it can be the other Friday of the other month. But he must be very careful. Speedy recovery to Yuli. Over to you, Lindy.
Okay, Chair. Chair, I don't know whether we will follow the same approach now that the report was forwarded to members yesterday, and the focus of the meeting just to look at the deliberations, observations, and recommendation, and then we can adopt. So there was a document prepared by Yoli containing just the observations and recommendations, Chair. So can I share that document if you agree as members?
Please share it, Lindy, with us.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
Okay, Chair. What's this document? Okay, Chair. I don't know. I can't find this document, but it's okay. Yeah, it's a document, Chair. This is 2022-23 BRRR report of the PC on social development, which was held on the 11th of October, as well as the 13th October, where the committee met the DSD, the NTA and CTA, as well as the AGSA, just to get to engage and scrutinize their annual report. Chair, these are the observations and recommendations made by the committee during the proceedings on the annual reports of the DSD portfolio. In terms of the observations the committee made with regard to the AGSA report, the committee welcomed the clean audit outcome from DSD and then NTA they received for the current financial year. Also noted the improvements on audit findings from 2019-20, 22-23 financial year. However, it also expressed concern about the repeat of findings, namely inadequate oversight by DSD over SASSA, slow response of management to address weaknesses, payments of social grant to ineligible beneficiaries, invalid lease contract. The committee also wanted to know what actions can be taken to ensure that these repeat findings do not occur again. It also wanted to know how many times AG must make repeat findings before an intervention can be done. Chair, and the committee proceeded. The AG reported that there's been an improvement in audit finding, especially on newly onboarded social grants beneficiaries. And the audit findings have been old grant beneficiaries because of weaknesses that were identified in the processing of their grant payments, such as means tests not included properly. And with regard to the repeat findings, they are concerned, especially within the grant administration. Hence, the AG recommended that SASSA and DSD should conduct a detailed analysis on the root causes of these weaknesses, which is the finding by reviewing existing policies, procedures, and controls, and improve controls and their implementation. There was an issue about the 6 billion savings, which the committee raised concerns on, that this 6 billion was returned to the National Treasury, whereas the country has high levels of poverty. Also, with effectiveness of AGSA enforcement powers, with repeat findings, the committee also sought clarity on how effective AG enforcement is. The AG explained regarding the two that in terms of the Public Audit Amendment Act 15 of 2018, not all expenditure qualifies as material irregular expenditure because there was not financial loss incurred by the institution, and then it identifies such irregular expenditure, not identify and communicates it accounting authorities concerned for them to act, make regular follow-ups on the actions taken by the accounting authority. Hence, it also determined the outcomes of the investigation. It also makes follow-up on the cases forwarded to SAPS and CCMA for further investigation. And at times, it identifies the deficiencies and provides advice to the accounting authorities accordingly. Chair, also Mama Amanganye just joined the committee chair, just for records. With regard to the expenditure versus impact, the committee wanted to know the possibility of AG to conduct audit and reporting of the expenditure and the impact realized. Also, Chair, the AG indicated that this can be considered by the current for the current financial year, but noted that most of the expenditure of the department is at the provincial level, and then it will discuss this in its upcoming planning processes when they are busy with them as AG. Change in client reporting framework, and then the committee sought clarity on the reasons on changes in the client reporting framework, and then also AG explained that this was decision taken by the National Treasury, and the consequence management, and then the committee raised a concern on amount of 1.8 million incurred for fraudulent activity by SASSA official in the Eastern Cape will not be recoverable from the implicated official. This seems to go against the consequence management both the SASSA, the AG, and the committee have been calling for. It also wanted to know if there were any consequence management imposed to SASSA officials who were implicated in the material irregularities of 74 million and 260 million. Also, Chair, with regard to the two concerns raised by the committee, SASSA explained that the official involved in the 316 were no longer employed by SASSA. Also, Chair, there was only one official who was implicated in the 74 million material irregularity, and the disciplinary action has been instituted on her or him. Regarding the 1.8 fraud, AG explained that the matter was handled by SASSA, SAPS, and NPA. And then the NPA decided that there was no prospects of recovery because of the time that has lapsed, and SASSA has recommended that investigation should be conducted as soon as cases are opened. Chair, regarding the SASSA also received a legal opinion that would be more costly for it to recover the funds, and then was happy with the legal opinion. With regard to the report keeping for officials implicated in the financial misconduct, and the committee expressed a concern that officials implicated in financial misconduct evade investigation by resigning and find employment in another organ of state. It wanted to know who is responsible for keeping a record of these officials. Is there a legislative provision that can be used to prevent this? Another issue was database. Out of the 5 material irregularities identified by AG with regard to SRD grants beneficiaries, which database are used versus to the one used by the HSA? This is because SASSA had earlier reported that HSA made a finding on the database not used by the SASSA. With regard to this query, AGSA explained that previously it used a different data. It obtained a month that SASSA made payments when SASSA had used a data from the previous 2 months. Even so, it did identify ineligible beneficiaries. With the current audit period, it used the data from the same months SASSA made payments. In overall, with the improved means test in the SRD grant there has been an improvement in the elimination of ineligible beneficiaries. Those share with the observations made by the committee in the AG, made by the committee in the report by the AG chair. So we can move. I don't know whether must I move forward to the observations in the portfolio committee in the DSD annual report. Can I move, Chair?
Yes, move
Okay,
because they are interlinked.
Okay, Chair. The DSD, these are the observations made by the committee with regard to the improved audit outcome. The committee commended the department for obtaining a clean audit, reporting an upward trend in performance, and responding to the issues it raised, such as addressing capacity of social workers on adoption policy and increasing the number of social grants beneficiaries. It, however, encouraged the departments to meet all its targets. With regard to the Synovia program, the committee wanted to know how the department measured the impact of this program, what models did it use, also how the department implements this program, with other departments such as the Department of Health. The department explained that the program seeks to improve caregiver-teen relationship through active social learning improvement, caregiver mental health through social support, and improving career-teen communication about risky situations for teens in the community. The impact of the program was observed from the testimonies the department received from beneficiaries in the Western Cape and Mpumalanga provinces. Parents reported that their relationship with their children improved after attending the program. They were able to discuss matters such as budget. This shows that the program had positive impact on the lives of people. Chair, also there was an issue about the substance abuse, which was observed by the committee, which they wanted to know they wanted to know if the department works with institutions of higher learning to raise awareness against substance abuse, as this is very high in the institution. Also, Chair, it wanted to know a number of public treatment centers in the country to address this issue of substance abuse. Also, Chair, the department reported that it has various partnerships with 8 institutions of higher learning. There are 30 public treatment centers across the country. With regard to the training on adoption policy, the committee query wanted to know the criteria that was used to choose 6 provinces where social workers were capacitated on the adoption policy. How many NPOs did it also capacitate on this policy? The department reported that training on the adoption policy is not only restricted on certain provinces. It is an ongoing training, and it is reported on an ongoing basis. Other provinces were reported on previously. Chair, consequence management. The committee raised a concern over delays in the instituting consequence management. Officials implicated in wrongdoings are not charged until they leave the department. Foster care grant versus child support grant top up. The committee also raised a concern that it seems that more children who are eligible for the foster care grant are diverted to the child support grant top up grant, even though the latter has less rand value. This is despite SASSA reporting that it did not achieve its target of having 191,200 children in receipt of CSG top-up grant. Also, the Children's Amendment Act number 17 of 2022 was only signed into law on 2022 December 2022 and came into effect on 5th January 2023. What impact that have this had on the foster care cases linked to the North Gauteng High Court judgment? What is the rand value of the difference between the foster care grant and the CSG top-up, child support grant, top-up grant? The department explained that the implementation of CSG top-up grant should have been linked with the implementation of Social Assistance Amendment Act, which only came into effect in May 2022, and the Children Amendment Act 17 of 2022. The Social Assistance Amendment Act introduced to child support grant top-up grant for orphaned children, and the Children Amendment Act defines vulnerable children who are in need of care and protection who should be in the foster care system. The aim is to increase the uptake of the SGS top-up and reduce the uptake of foster care grants, which requires comprehensive administrative and legal processes. Then there were who were children in need of care and protection who were not receiving any form of benefit or income. Thus, the child support grant top-up was not intended to save money. Also, the department acknowledged that because of the gap in the implementation of the 2 pieces of legislation, there may be some social workers who are not familiar with the provisions of the Children's Amendment Act. The uptake of the CSG top-up grant is still very low to what the department had envisaged. There was also an observation on the expenditure trends, Chair. And the committee noted that in the financial reporting for Q1 of the 2023-2024 financial year, the department had reported on the projected versus actual spending on compensation of employee, which showed an increase to what was spent above what was projected. It requested the department to do a similar report for all the quarters. With regard to vacancies, the committee raised a concern over the critical positions that continue to be vacant. It also wanted an update on the media reports that the department officials and NEHAW members were opposing the appointment of the current acting Director General into the position. The department reported that the post for the DG, the Director General and the DDG's welfare services policies, development and implementation support were advertised and recommendations were forwarded to the Department of the Public Service and Administration. The department does not foresee any challenges which will prevent the DPSA from submitting the recommended candidates to Cabinet. The post of the Chief Financial Office and DDG Strategy and Organizational Transformation were also advertised on 17 July and closed in August 2023. Also, a memo was submitted to the Minister for the appointment of panel members. Once the appointment of panel members has been finalized, the shortlisting and interview process will commence. There may have been an interpretation issue between the Labour constituency and the department management of the circular that was issued by the National Treasury. However, the management believes that its interpretation is correct. At the time of advertisement and recruitment for the DG and DDG positions, welfare were advertised. The department can confirm that all the applicants qualified, hence they were shortlisted and the panel made recommendation. Chair, with regard and members, the payment of social grant into accounts of beneficiaries, the committee noted statement made by the acting Director General in his introductory remarks that the department pays social grants into beneficiaries' accounts, but has no responsibility of what happens thereafter. It sought clarity on this statement because it is the responsibility of the department and SASSA to ensure that beneficiaries receive their grants. Coupled to that, it raised a concern that the department did not receive its target to adjudicate 70% of appeals within 90 days. This was worrying because behind every appeal is a source of livelihood to many households. With regard to this concern, the department explained that it has complete interest in the payment of social grants from when it receives the funds from the National Treasury until social grants are paid to beneficiaries. For instance, it was off the forefront of the recent payments crisis in September this year to ensure that the technical challenges were speedily addressed. It is, however, important to acknowledge the roles and responsibilities as well as accountability provisions that are well specified in legislation and in the North Gauteng High Court ruling. SASSA has been paying grants without fail into the banks of beneficiaries through PESAL. There has been delays in payment of grants. It is deemed the grant is paid once it is beneficiary's account. The Gauteng High Court ruled that neither SASSA nor the department has any regulatory powers to pose the restriction on the electronic transaction. The failures that happened in September, transactional failures that happened between two banks, Postbank and the bank that owns the point of sale device. Chair and members, also there was an issue raised by the members on the draft prevention of and treatment for substance use disorder policy. The committee wanted to know the reasons the target to submit this policy to Cabinet was not achieved. The department responded that the policy is very comprehensive and contains controversial provisions. It also involves services of other government departments, also has substantial financial implications. Hence, it was submitted to National Treasury for advice before it is finalized. Another observation, updating of TSD website. Committee reiterated its concern that the department's website is not updated with new policies. There are policies that were reported on in the annual report but were not available on this website. The department reported that a service provider was appointed to update the website. Regarding the interdependencies and effective of the electronic monitoring and evaluation of M&E systems, the committee wanted to know how the department is addressing the challenge of interdependencies that result in some targets not achieved. It also wanted to know the M&E electronic systems aims to address this. And Chair, the department responded to this and also acknowledged that the issue of concurrent function is one of the challenges that the social development sector faces. Some provinces set their own priorities, and it becomes difficult for the national department to impose its priorities. Also, Chair, this is a negotiated space. This is, however, addressed in various ministerial forums, such as DDG's forums and MINMEX, wherein priorities are discussed and sector plans are developed to address agreed performance indicators. However, the department has been found not to be compliant with this because some of the provinces, such as the Western Cape, do not report on the agreed indicators, despite various engagement to encourage it to do so. The electronic M&E will enable the department, the M&E will enable the department, the electronic M&E will enable the department to collect reliable data on service delivery and stop relying on reports from previous provinces, which are at times not submitted on time. The system was piloted and it was found to be very effective. Some NPOs in Gauteng are already using it. All targets that were not achieved are prioritized for the next financial year. Chair, I would want to just put my phone on silent. Chair, the next observation, Chair, was the high numbers of appeals, which the committee expressed a consensus on it. The about 4819 appeals that had to be resolved. It wanted to know what were the common issues that were raised in these appeals. The department also responded that the appeals were very high because of SRD grant queries. All appeals for the 2022-23 financial year were completed, but not in 90 days as it was the target. With regard to NPO funding, the committee noted that small and emerging NPOs that are mainly owned by Black people struggle to get funding compared to bigger NPOs. The department explained that bigger NPOs receive funding because they have been in existence for many years. This is because of the low increase in the budget for funding of NPOs. It has been between 1 to 2% across provincial departments. National Treasury has been increasingly cutting departments' budget. Chair, we'll move to the South African Social Security Agency, which is SASSA, observation, Chair. The committee commended SASSA for the improvement in audit findings. With regard to material irregularities, the committee noted the 316 million on this that has been resolved, and the investigation and legal opinion found that the previous officials cannot be held responsible for the overpayment because the prescription period had lapsed. It wanted to know if this meant that all the implicated officials had resigned. Can the people who delayed the investigation be held accountable? With the 74 million material irregularities, the committee wanted to know how will SASSA make sure that the same delays in hold those liable, the same delays hold those liable accountable, does not occur when it suffers so much financial loss. SASSA explained that outstanding material irregularity of 74 million will be finalized before the end of 2023-2024 financial year. However, some of the implicated people left SASSA many years ago, but SASSA has a right to recover the money from the cash paymaster services. With regard to inadequate oversight on grant administration and payment of grants, the committee wanted to know what measures has SASSA put in place to identify the root causes of this audit finding. This is concerning because grant administration and payment is the legislative mandate of SASSA. SASSA responded that the 2022-23 action plan focuses on the determination of root causes. It focuses on 3 areas, namely, is the audit query related to the absence of policy, whether there is a business process or standard operating procedure, overriding of the business processes. SASSA has also embarked on digitizing its business processes, which also address this. With regard to lease contracts, the department noted and welcomed the intervention by SASSA by obtaining an approval of the immovable property strategy from the Minister of Social Development, which addresses the audit query of irregular expenditure due to expired lease contracts. With regard to anti-fraud strategy, the committee wanted to know at what point would SASSA do a complete overhaul of the screening of vetting of all employees. This is because it has been alleged that at times SASSA officials who are behind the fraudulent activities. Consequence management, the committee raised a concern over the delays in the investigation until those implicated leave SASSA or are deceased. It wanted to know how long will it take to resolve the outstanding cases of financial misconduct. SASSA explained that investigation take long to finalize investigation because SASSA has to source external investigators, and that has to go through the procurement process. It appreciated the assistance that the National Treasury has provided. Hence, there are 2 outstanding historical cases. With regard to 650 million approved retained surplus, the committee wanted to know what these funds will be used for, and how these funds were approved when other requests to retain surplus funds were declined by the National Treasury previously. SASSA explained that the application for the retained surplus can be made after the 31st July of each year. That is in August and September, and the funds must be spent fully before the end of the financial year. These amounts will be spent on sourcing alternative power supply at local offices, local office improvements such as maintenance issue, procurement of furniture in local offices, replenishing some ICT of equipment, purchasing some vehicles, especially for the Western Cape regional offices, as vehicles have not been replenished for some years, upgrading of ICT services at the head office because of remote working, online grant application, and for record management. With regard to the child support grant top-up, Chair, the committee wanted to know if SASSA will be able to reach the target number for 2023-2024 financial year, when it has managed to reach 37,000 of these top-up grants beneficiaries out of the targeted number of 191,200 in 2022-2023. It also wanted to know the waiting period for the CSG application, which is the child support grant application, Chair. SASSA explains that the numbers were lower than what was projected because most people prefer to wait for the court process for foster care application to finalize before they apply for the CSG top-up grant. It acknowledged that the target for 191,200,000 was ambitious for one financial year. For the 2023-2024 financial year, it has set a more realistic target. With regard to inquiries resolved within 10 days, the committee wanted to know what the starting point of the 10 days is. SASSA explained that the starting point is it is when the inquiry is received, either by email or telephone. The finding by HAGSA was that SASSA was not able to backdate the query when, for instance, there was a challenge of load shedding and system downtime. This system has since been amended and now allows the days to be backdated. To mitigate the challenges of load shedding, SASSA is also looking at piloting self-service kiosks to be allocated outside SASSA local offices. Also, there was an issue raised on the database and the funds disbursed to Postbank with regard to database, and the committee wanted to know the database that was used by AG when it conducted an audit on the payment of SRD grant. Was it the same as the one used by the SASSA? This will provide clarity on the audit findings. Also, Chair, the funds disbursed to Postbank, the committee wanted to know the rand value of the amount that was disbursed to Postbank and the rand value of the penalty that was imposed. The SASSA explained the amount of the accrual in the financial statement because it was the amount SASSA owned to Postbank in the 6 months, October 2022 and April 2023. That was the contract which SASSA has been in existence. SASSA had paid 517 million. That makes it around 86 million a month. Chair, we proceed to the NTA observations. The committee commended the NTA for obtaining an unqualified audit with no funding, which is the clean audit. It noted that the HSA found that the agency was compliant with various legislation. Also noted that NTA achieved its performance goals towards poverty alleviation, job creation, capacity building of CSOs to enable them to operate sustainable. It also congratulated the new board for the work it has done since it started its term in January 2023. It urged the board to particularly focus its oversight over the work of the newly established Loss Control Committee to strengthen it. With regard to the recurring audit finding, the committee, however, noted with concern the recurring audit finding on the uncompetitive bidding processes. This raises a question why this was not resolved. With regard to the turnaround strategy, the committee welcomed the approval of the turnaround strategy, but asked various clarity-seeking questions on its implementation. It wanted to know if there are timeframes for its implementation. Does it include the review of the NTA-funded organization? Will it include reduction of consultation fees? What can be expected in the current financial year that will make an impactful difference to the work of the NTA? By when? What institutional reposition of the NTA is contained in the strategy? The NTA responded and explained to the two above observations that the strategy will be implemented in April 2024. It has drafted a publicity plan that has mapped out stakeholders it will engage with. Regarding the review of NTA-funded NPOs, the strategy has defined the target groups of NPOs, which will be community-based, cooperatives, and enterprises that will create sustainable jobs. The focus will be more on social grant beneficiaries, indigent beneficiaries, extended EPWPs, unemployable youth, and unemployed graduates. This aim to assist people to exit from the public employment register. Thus, there will be a strategic shift from the CSO funding to community-based cooperatives that assist individuals affected by poverty. There was also a further explanation around the community-based cooperative chair that will also be capacitated to effectively address the factors that trap people into poverty chair. Also, there was an issue about the sitters that were mentioned, Chair. Can I proceed to the to the vacancy issue, Chair, because there is explanation around the issue, Chair, on the turnaround strategy, Chair. It's an extensive explanation from the department. I hope members have managed to go through. With regard to vacancies, Chair, the committee wanted to know when will post of the CEO be filled, how many other senior management positions are acting. The committee referred to an earlier report that some duties were done by unqualified officials, or they were performing duties that were outside their line of work. This is despite compensation of employees accounting that the board had started shortlisted. However, they later were not available. The process was restarted. The turnaround strategy will also include skills audit review with the aim of placing officials in the right positions. It is only the position of the CEO that is vacant. At the time of reporting, there was an acting chief financial officer because the CFO was on special leave. With regard to partnership strategy, the committee wanted to know if the strategy includes forming partnership with big businesses to enable it to expand its blueprint. The NDA explained that it identified key strategies partnerships such as the Department of Human Settlements, Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, Department of Higher Learning, CITAS Lottery, the Land Bank and CSO organizations. These are expressed in the turnaround strategy. Performance bonuses. The committee wanted to know a number of employees who were eligible for bonuses. It was concerned that the NTA spends a lot of its budget on salaries. The NTA explained that the budget provision for performance budget bonuses is always made, but its payment depends on the approval of the board based on the performance of the agency. Board fees. The committee wanted to know the financial statement included expenditure on board fees when the board was only appointed in January 2023. The NTA explained that there was an interim accounting authority assisted by the independent audit committee. The fees included the remuneration of the committee and the new board when it started its work. Capacity building of CSO. The committee wanted to know what capacity building of CSO entails and how long are NPOs capacitated. The NTA reported that the capacity of building of program was enrolled out in all 9 provinces. The program has resulted in a mind shift towards community enterprises and how they can maximize funding opportunities in a particular area of focus. The NTA also trained NPOs on areas of governance, resource mobilization, financial management, and on conflict resolution. It also developed 5 modules. The training was an ongoing process based on the areas of weakness that were identified during the assessment process. The training is provided by development practitioners who are deployed in all 9 provinces. Disbursement of CARA funds. The committee wanted to know the reasons that the NTA was still withholding the disbursement of CARA funds when there is dire need for funding by NGOs and high levels of gender-based violence and femicide. What has been the impact of this fund? The NTA reported that at the end of 2022-23 financial year, there was balance of 5 million, and it will be disbursed before the end of November 2023, and the contract ends in October 2023. The funds were disbursed in tranches, and monitoring is conducted before the other tranches are disbursed. This was the reason why funds were withheld. Chair, with regard to core volunteer program, the committee wanted to know what the program entails as it has been allocated with 30 million from the approved retained surplus funds, what are its timeframes? The NTA reported that the program 22 beneficiaries per CSO, and they were paid 1.8 for a period of 6 months. The grant funding projects created seasonal job opportunities. Some of the volunteers from the volunteer program absorbed into the CSO they were attached to. Also, Chair, with regard to the condonation of irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure, the committee wanted to know when will the application for condonation to National Treasury be finalized. The NTA explained that the Loss Control Committee started to make determination of cases amount to 14 million for condonation. There were other 2 high-value cases amounting to 50 million that were taken through a determination process. The NTA was in the process of implementing consequence management. Then application for condonation will be submitted to the National Treasury at the beginning of 4th quarter of 2023-2024 financial year. There were 8 cases which were with Human Resource Department for the implementation of disciplinary processes, and once completed, they will also be submitted for condonation. The NTA has implemented controls, and that has resulted in 1 transgression of 335,000 for the new under review. With regard to sorry, members. Consequence management. I don't know whether I've moved up. I don't know what did I do.
We have moved up.
When inquiry. Turnaround strategy I've done. Vacancies is done. Strategy is done. Capacity building. I was at the capacity building channel was done. CARA funding was done. Volunteer program. Chair, with regard to the volunteer program, the committee wanted to know what this program entails. As it has been allocated with 30 million from the approved retained surplus fund, what its time frame is. I've done this much. Yes, I know now. I was supposed to be at the NTA amendment bill, Chair. The committee wanted to know when will the bill be finalized and what governance amendments will it make. And then the NTA reported that it submitted proposal to the Department of Social Development, and it was drafting the bill. The department will brief the board on the amendment so that it can make inputs. The proposed governance amendment include reduction of the number of board members to 7, similarly to other government entities, regulation of the expertise the NTA requires from the board candidates, reduction of the number of government representatives and CSOs sector in the board, regulation of the time and the appointment of the board chairperson, which currently done during the first sitting of the board, but does not necessarily happen, giving the minister power to appoint the board chairperson, regulation of the quorum of the board to be in the percentage, not members, repealing the section of the Act that deals with the establishment of the management committee before the current Act predates the Public Financial Management Act, etc. I think this bill, when it's completed, it will come before the committee for its processing. With regard to the CSO funding, the committee wanted to know the effectiveness of monitoring and evaluation system over the NDA funded projects. There's a lot of funding that goes to NPOs through the NDA and program 5 of the DSD, research reports and dialogue. The committee wanted to know how the findings of the research reports find expression in the work of NDA. Also, the NDA explained the main aim of the research conducted is to influence NDA policies and aligning them to the MTSF priorities, which is the medium-term strategic framework priorities on poverty eradication, unemployment, and inequality. The research outcomes are presented to various stakeholders, such as NETLEC, in a form of a debate and dialogues. The evaluation reports produced also contributed to the drafting of the turnaround strategy. Evaluation studies assess the impact of the NDA-funded projects on the lives of people. It was also the evaluation studies that revealed that the design of the NDA-funded projects focus more on short-term benefits than the long-term benefits. The budget cuts, the committee wanted to know the impact the impact has the budget deficit of 23 million had on the performance of the NDA. The NDA explained that the income statement reflects an accounting deficit. Every year, the National Treasury approves the rollover funds from the previous year. The 23 million deficit is funded from the approved rolled over funds. With regard to ICT strategy and appointment of service provider, the committee also wanted to know the reason strategy comments before the board was appointed and the turnaround strategy was approved. The committee also wanted to know the reason strategy comments before the board was appointed and the turnaround strategy was approved. There was also explanation provided, Chair, with regard to this concern. The department explained that the strategy was necessary to map up the ICT requirements of the organization in preparation for the implementation of the turnaround strategy, the mapping projects, and on the digitization of the IT support of the NDA business processes, and it will be finalized in the next 2 months. The contract of the service provider was for 5 years, Chair. Chairperson and members, these are the observations of the annual reports of the TSD and its entity. I don't know, Chair, whether there are any amendments, Chair, or must we proceed to the recommendations? I will seek your guidance. Okay, get something to do.
Why don't you finish up the recommendations too, so that we make amendments and we subtract all those things?
Okay, Chair.
Continue.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, and members, after we've observed all the issues from these reports, the committee made recommendations which will be forwarded to the minister through the office of the speaker, and then later on the debate on this report. Chair, the recommendations for DSD is as follows. The Minister of Social Development should ensure that the department strengthens its oversight over the administration and payment of social grants by ensuring that the management service agreement SASSA entered with Postbank is implemented to avoid any future payment crisis. The technical challenges that resulted in the failure of withdrawals of certain types of social grants should be eliminated as much as possible. The department should provide and present its entity governance and oversight framework to the committee within 6 months after the adoption of this report by the National Assembly. The minister's second recommendation, the minister should also make sure that the department within 2024-2025 financial year trains all social workers on the provisions of the Social Assistance Amendment Act number 20 of 2020 and the Children Amendment Act number 17 of 2022 and their regulations to increase the uptake of the child support grant top-up. The department has a set target of capacitating 30% of the sector workforce in 2022-2023 and 30% in 2024-2025. However, it is important that all social workers are trained to prevent further exclusion of vulnerable children, either from the foster care grant or the child support grant top-up. The minister should ensure that the department includes a detailed progress report on actions taken to address material irregularities in its quarterly audit action plan, which it presents to the portfolio committee. The report should contain a full list of those implicated, status of investigation, consequence management instituted, and recovery of the funds involved. Linked to the aforementioned recommendation, the minister should ensure that the department institutes investigation and consequence management over financial misconduct cases speedily to prevent those implicated from evading accountability by resigning. The minister should ensure that the critical vacancies at senior management level are filled within 6 months after this report has been adopted by the National Assembly. The department should report progress made to the committee at the end of 6 months. This is a recurring recommendation of the committee, and that needs to be prioritized. The last recommendation, the minister should ensure that the department includes in quarterly financial reports analysis of projected versus actual spending on all programs and economic classification. We move to the SASSA recommendation person and members. The minister should ensure that the department, as part of its oversight strategy over the social grant administration and payment, ensure that SASSA meets its target of increasing the uptake of child support grant top-up. As reported in its annual report, SASSA only managed to have 37,000 child support grant top-up in payment out of the 191,200 for 2022-2023 financial year. For 2023-2024 financial year, it had set a target of having 285,500 applications for their child support grant top-up in payment. The minister should also ensure that SASSA includes a detailed progress report on actions taken to address material irregularities in its audit finding plan, which it presents to the portfolio committee. The report should contain a full list of those implicated, status of investigation, consequence management instituted, and recovery of funds involved. Linked to the aforementioned recommendation, the minister should ensure that SASSA institute investigation and consequence management over financial misconduct cases speedily to prevent those implicated from evading accountability by resigning. This is the same recommendation made to DSD as well, Chair and members. The last recommendation, the minister should ensure that SASSA on its quarterly action plans it presents to the portfolio committee includes outcomes of the investigation on the root causes of the audit findings. Chair, we move to the last entity of the department, which is the National Development Agency. There are only two recommendations. The first one, the minister should ensure that the NDA fills the position of the Chief Executive Officer within 6 months after the adoption of this report by the National Assembly. The NDA reports progress made to the committee at the end of the 6 months. This is a recurring recommendation, and so it needs to be prioritized. The last recommendation, Chair and members, the minister should ensure that the NDA finalizes the process of condonation of irregularities, fruitless and wasteful expenditure within 2024-2025 financial year. The NDA should report on the progress made in its quarterly audit plan, quarterly action audit action plan it presents to the committee. Chair, this is at the end of the observations and the recommendations made by the committee on the annual reports of DSD and its LET. Over to you, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lindy. It was a long presentation, but I hope honorable members have noted those things that they think they would add. Yeah, scroll it. Okay. Honorable members, over to you. I see the hand of Honorable Alex. Honorable Vandameve. Let's break the ice, honorable members. Over to you, Honorable Abram.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to you and good morning to the colleagues and the staff online. Mine is more a comment to make, and that is the one issue that I've noticed comes up quite often, and I don't rebut it in our committee meetings because there was already, the Deputy Minister already gave the explanation for it. And that is the fact that the Western Cape Department of Social Development that does not report on all of national DSD's indicators. Now, each time the national DSD mentions this, they never give the reason why this is so. And I see it's now in this report as well. It's mentioned, but there's no reason behind why they aren't following all the indicators. And the Deputy Minister, when we had our workshop in Joburg, gave the reason very, very, very clearly why it is so. And the reason the Deputy Minister gave was that in the Western Cape, there's a different government. So naturally, there will be a difference in strategic objectives and a difference in priorities. So it's impossible for the Western Cape Provincial Department to report on all of national's indicators when there are clear policy differences. So now I don't expect the ADG or any of the national department's officials to give this explanation, even though they know the explanation for why they are not aligned, because there's bias involved. But I do expect that our reporting as a committee to be more unbiased and more balanced, especially when the Deputy Minister herself gave the reason for it. So that's my only comment, Chairperson, is that it's always put out there as a reason as to why they aren't meeting the indicators, but there's been a clear reason for it. And it was given by the Deputy Minister, but it's always just left off presentations, and I see it's left off this report as well. So that's just my one input. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Abrams. I am happy that you are saying it's not a question, but it's a comment. And what makes me to be happy is that a reason has been put forward by the DM. So maybe what we need to do is to make a follow-up, even if we're still around, and even if we can maybe as a biased person or person who's residing, check whether what is it that is happening in terms of that. Because this is coming up, you are right, again and again. Okay, thanks, Honorable Abrams. Honorable Rizal.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning to you. Good morning to our colleagues, and good morning to our support staff. And thank you to Lindy for reading that report. Chairperson, with regards to the recommendations where we say under social development that we are recommending as a portfolio committee that the critical vacancies at senior management level be filled in 6 months, and we say that this is a recurring recommendation. I've got a slightly different view here, because if you say 6 months, Chairperson, and for all intents and purposes, we are now in November. If you count 6 months from now, you might be in May, and in May, there might be a next general election. So I don't see the value, because previously we had indicated, and this was in a letter sent from the Speaker to the Minister, where we indicated that we want these critical vacancies be filled in 3 months, because we've been raising the same issue since we took office. So I would really appeal that if you say 3 months, then it's basically November, December, January, then at least by February, we should see progress, and at least we as a committee will still be meeting. So I would like to appeal that we say these vacancies should be filled within 3 months. Similarly, where we say that the Minister should be instituting an investigation into consequence management. I also think in this regard, we should be able to get a report from the Minister in 3 months' time. So I would want for us to add a time frame there, because it's another recurring finding from the AG that, the issue of consequence management is not happening. So let's put a time frame to that, like we are putting with the vacancies. Then in the meeting, the issue was again raised, like we always do raise the issue of the social worker shortage in the country and the need to meet the NDP goal of 55,000. And I think there must be a recommendation that we say that before, at least also in the next 3 months, the Minister should come back to the committee to table a report on how they'll meet that target. And then with regard to the NDA, remember in our meeting, we had also spoken about the issue. Everything now is focusing on the turnaround strategy. And I also think one recommendation should be that the turnaround strategy and all its facets should be tabled to the committee within 3 months' time. Those would be my suggestions, Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Vandameve. Honorable Bridget Masango.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, colleagues, and good morning to the parliamentary staff. Thank you for such a comprehensive report for the parts that I attended, because I wasn't in the meeting for the NDA on Friday. I just have a question, which I'm asking for. It's a maybe I shouldn't even be doing this question, but it has to do with the consolidation of things that are repeated. I know that this report is sort of chronological in that it says this was what happened, after that this was what happened, but are we allowed, or will it distort the report if we put similar things together, especially where I saw a situation where we mentioned things in the department's part of the meeting, and then those things were repeated in the SASA meeting, rightly for the right reasons, I suppose, because that's where those SASA related things belong. But I'm asking, especially from Yoli and Lindy, I'm asking the chair if that will distort the report, the formatting of the report, because it seems to be coming with the same things over and over. Yeah, that's my question. Thank you, Chair. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I have to understand it, Honorable Member, even if I don't, because that was the finding. That was the finding that we have as a committee, that it frustrates us because some of the findings are repetitive. And
Yes.
I think one honorable member asked, what is the best way to deal with the repetitive. She asked that straight away from the AG. And yeah, there was an answer, but that answer, I don't think it augurs us well. But the concern that we are all having is that some of them really are repetitive things that have been previously raised, and we were raising them time and again. But anyway, we should have a way of dealing with that one. And it's very sensitive. Honorable Stock, I think you are the last one.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Good morning to all my colleagues and everyone who's in the platform. And then I would also like to greet the parliamentary officials. Chairperson, my contribution is going to be very small. I just need to appreciate the good work that has been done by our officials to put together such a comprehensive report, which actually covers or captures our discussions and our recommendations as the portfolio committee, and then all issues that we have raised. From where I'm sitting, I mean, the issues are actually adequately covered in the report. So I just wanted to make that comment in terms of appreciating the good work that has been done. So without necessarily trying to spoil the good report that is presented to us today, Honorable Chairperson, I want to also indicate to the meeting that I'm persuaded by the proposal which is made by Honorable Lisel van der Merwe on the recurring recommendation that we have been making as a portfolio committee from time to time, or the filling of vacancies, whether it's at the level of the department or it's at the level of the National Development Agency on senior positions which have been vacant for a very long time. I mean, annually, this is what we've been saying from the start. Since the CEO has left, the former CEO of NDA, Mr. Mumzobe, this thing has been coming, and then we are told, no, we're filling it, no, the positions are vacant, and all of that. So I think in that, with all that being said, I'm actually persuaded to agree 6 months is going to be too long for us. We're only left with a few months, will not be here. So I think, and then this thing has been coming for quite some time. I think it's just fair to say, let's insist on the department, because the post was also advertised. And then in our meetings, they kept on saying, no, recruitment process have unfolded. Even last week when we met them, they said, no, they should be finalizing it soon. So if you say 6 months, we're opening it up for another maybe postponement of not the position not being filled. So I agree wholeheartedly with the proposal to say, let's make it 3 months. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Khan. And we are happy that you managed to join. We got your apology that you are also hung up in another meeting. Thanks for joining. Thank you very much, honorable members. And it seems as if, except that correction that we have to do, and also make a follow-up on what Masango has been raised, and then all others, at least we are satisfied it's what we have deliberated on. Then can I get someone to adopt this report, because it needs to be adopted and be sent to the levels that are supposed to go through, and then we are going to present it in the parliament soon.
Yes, Chair.
Honorable van der Merwe, is it you or is it the legacy hand?
Sorry, Chair, it's a legacy hand. And yeah, thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you very much. I heard Honorable Mangani's voice at the back.
Yeah, Chair. Good morning. I was just saying.
Good morning,
members. Yeah, Chair. I was just saying, with the additionals that have been made or the correction, I'm moving for the adoption of this report.
Thank you, Jane. Jane has moved for the adoption with amendments that have been done. Any seconder to that? No one seconds. Maybe I should also second.
I know, Chair, you cannot second.
There are no heads. Okay. Hello, Honorable Kate. Okay. Thank you, Honorable Kate. It has been seconded and then it has been adopted with amendments, with all that. Thank you ever so much. The next item, Lindy.
The next item is the consideration adoption of the fourth term committee program, Chair.
Will you please, Lindy, flight that committee program?
Okay, Chair.
As to remind ourselves about.
Thank you. Chair, can you see it? Hello?
No, don't see it.
You don't see it?
It has not yet.
Okay, Chair. Okay. I don't know. How is it? Okay. And now it's there.
Yes, it's there.
Okay.
Can you just go through?
Okay, Chair. Okay, Chair. Thank you very much, Chairperson. It's October to December is the last quarter of the year for parliamentary program. This is the items for the fourth quarter, Chair. These items are based on the priority and legislation, and the petitions are the core for the committee to prioritize as far as its oversight function is concerned. So, and also there was also an agenda item that was not dealt with due to non-availability of the Department of Police. And we've also scheduled, and also we looked, Chair, at the petition that was before the committee, as well as a private member's bill that is before the committee. Just I wanted to give those bases that the members, this program is based on, is moving on those bases that priority was tried to be given in these two legislation and petition and the outstanding matters. Chair, yesterday, on Wednesday last week and Friday, we dealt with the annual reports, and today, the 18th, we are deliberating on the BRRR report, as well as adopting this fourth quarter report, Chair, as well as the outstanding minutes, Chair. And then moving on the 25th of October, Chair, this item was scheduled in the last quarter, but the police department was not available. They are being scheduled for the 25th of October to come and present to the committee violence and murder of children, and then the mandates, program and intervention stats and impact of intervention and program for 2022-2023. Chair, also on the 1st of November, Chair, there is a petition that is before the committee, which was referred by the Speaker of the National Assembly for Member Masango. So we will invite the petitioner by the unemployed social workers calling the National Assembly to investigate the inability of the government to create permanent employment for unemployed social workers in South Africa. In the same meeting, we'll also invite the Department of Social Development to respond on the petition by the unemployed social workers. Chair, on Friday to Sunday, which is the 3rd to the 5th of November, the committee will continue with its public participation process in processing the Older Persons Amendment Bill, and these public hearings will be in the Free State. Chair, on the 8th of November, we will also receive a briefing by the Education, Justice, Correctional Services on their strategies on the employment of social workers and probation officers. Chair, we might need more time. As the previous experience, it was difficult for the committee to have more than 2 departments in one meeting. So there might be some time allocated to ensure that we meet all these departments to get their presentation on the strategies on the employment of social workers and probation officers. Chair, we move to the 10th and the 12th of November with our public participation process in processing the Older Persons Amendment Bill. In this time, we will be in the Western Cape from the 12th to the from the 10th to the 12th of November 2023. In the same breath, the following week, Chair, which is the 15th of November, we will receive a briefing from the a member, Member Masango, for her private members bill. There will be a presentation from her as to what proposal she wants to bring on her private members bill. And then there also be a department as well will come to respond if there are any issues that they want to respond on the proposal. Chair, sorry, on the 23rd of November, Chair, the committee will be deliberating on the proposed Children's Amendment Bill, and then we will also move to continue with the public participation process and go to Northwest, 24th to 26th November 2023, and then the 29th of November, we will have a briefing by the department on their second term quarterly report on the financial and non-financial performance 2022-2023 financial year, Chair. And then the last one will be consideration and adoption of the motion of disability on the Children's Amendment Bill, which is B 19/2023. I think that will be the last meeting for the term, unless the parliamentary program it's extended for another week or 2. I will check if there are any items where the committee may consider if the parliamentary program is extended to beyond the 29th, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lindy. That is the program, honorable members, which we know that by that time will be running like mad chickens towards the elections, but we have to balance both the organizational work and also the work that we are serving. Thanks, Lindy. Honorable Alex.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I just need to make a comment. So it's a little bit unfortunate that, SAPS got back to the committee so late with their date, because as you know, Chairperson, that was the one issue that I had asked to be put on the agenda. And I will officially be on maternity leave as from Friday. So just to say, I would appreciate it if I'm still allowed to, submit some of my questions on the presentation that will be forthcoming in writing via the committee secretary, because Chairperson, I'm not too sure if you are keeping abreast of what's happening in Cape Town on the Cape Flats with, just the senseless loss of life in the gang violence there. Just this week, a 5-year-old child was killed in Crossfire, and there's a very sad video of him at his creche to say that he wanted to grow up to be a police officer to put the bad people away. And now they're burying him on Wednesday because he was, caught in gang violence. So that's just a request from my side, but then also a request to the committee secretary to please still include me in obviously all the emails and correspondence that will be going out while I'm not present. Thank you, Chairperson.
Oh, that's sad news. Yeah.
Chairperson?
Yes.
Sorry, Chairperson, is Paulita speaking. I just want to apologize. Load shedding since last night. The electricity only went on now. So it's the only time that I could actually lock in now because we didn't have any electricity. So I just want to apologize for coming to the meeting very late because I couldn't do anything without the electricity. So apologies, Chairperson.
Okay. Then do you want to say something out of this presentation?
Chairperson, yes, I would like to say about the policing. I think it is very important that if we see what is happening in Western Cape, where every weekend young people are being killed in Western Cape, and it is senseless killings, and it seems like they never solve these cases. And the Western Cape government is very quiet about these killings. Gang violence has always been part of the Western Cape, but now this one that is happening in Philippi and Kailicha and all those places is not gang violence. It's just people passing by and just shooting. And that is a very huge concern of the way things are happening now. So that is, I don't even know what you were discussing because I couldn't lock in. I just came in now when Alexandre was talking. So yes, I just want to say my view on the police thing. Thank you, Chairperson.
Yeah, if I'm following it correctly, I understand that Minister Bekele has agreed to add more police in Western Cape. Excuse me, meaning that maybe it's also going to assist, but it is really painful for what is happening. We can't be feeling very painful in terms of the Palestinians that this thing is taking place and then leave out this one that is happening in our country. It is bad, but let's hope for the best and check and make check-ups in terms of these police that have been added gonna be assisting this thing that is happening in Western Cape. Otherwise, thanks for raising it. Honorable Polnit, we're just adopting the report. We're making amendments. Hello?
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, my hand is up, and now it's not a legacy hand. I'm very sorry. I wanted to firstly thank Lindy for tabling the term program, and I'm really in particular very glad that we'll be dealing with the issue of social workers, because it is an issue that we as a committee has been struggling or battling with for this entire term. But Chairperson, I also want to make an appeal to you. I know you did say in your, when earlier on you said that we will be really busy, and I agree with you that we will be running off our feet. But I'm wondering whether, Chairperson, at one stage, maybe if we can look at one Friday, if we could possibly meet to discuss the issues around. I will be sending you some information, but at this moment, for example, there are NGOs closing in KwaZulu-Natal. It is affecting children in particular. Tonight, there will be a documentary on SABC on orphans that are left stranded because these NGOs are closing their doors. And similarly, also in Gauteng, Gauteng DSD has declared these baby savers. You will recall that we had a presentation on baby savers in the committee when we were dealing with the Children's Amendment Bill. It is a mechanism to save the lives of abandoned babies, and Gauteng has declared those baby savers illegal. So, it will definitely increase the number of abandoned babies that we'll see. So I wanted to know, but I will put it in writing to you. But if there is one Friday before we rise that we can possibly look at the issue that some of our MPOs are facing, because it is also our responsibility to protect vulnerable children and make sure that organizations that look after them don't close because of a funding crisis, or that more babies are abandoned. But I know our program is very full and we do have to deal with social worker issues because it's very important. But I'm just making that appeal and we'll put it in writing to you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Van der Merwe. I'm happy that you know the procedure. You will have to write it as you are saying. And I think one of these issues that we are raising, Honorable Abrahams has already raised it, and we have referred it to where it belongs in terms of following and answering that. Otherwise, you can do that, as you have said that you have to write it so that we can look at which Friday that we can attend to that. Thanks ever so much, honorable members. I am happy that we have managed to at least make time, but we still have another item. I want someone who's going to adopt this program and also a seconder to the program. Can I get those? Otherwise, I've heard on what you have said. Honorable Lizette, your hand is up. You have
Yes, I'll move for the
to...
adoption, Chairperson.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Van der Merwe. Any seconder to this? Honorable Bridget.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to second the adoption of the program. Thanks.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Now we are done with that, knowing exactly we have to be flexible in terms of those that have been added by other honorable members requesting some attention on them. Thanks. We are done with that program. Then the next item, Lindy.
Chair, the next item is to adopt the 2 sets of minutes, the 13th and the 20th of June, of September, Chair.
Will you please write those?
Okay, sir. Where's the adoption?
Is your computer speaking Xhosa, lecture?
Hey, it's for IR, Chair. This for industrial. Thank you very much, Chair. Chairperson, these are the minutes of the 13th of September, where we invited the department and its entity to brief the committee on their action plan to respond to the AG's audit findings and recommendations for 2021-2022 financial year, Chair, and also we're scheduled to also adopt the set of minutes. Chair, the members that were present in that meeting, it was you, the chairperson of this committee, Member Mvana. We had Member Stock, we have Member Peterson, we have Member Manganya, we have Member Masango, we have Member Abrahams, we have Member Iris, we have Member Mare, we have Member apologies, Chair. It's from Member Pilankulu, Member Hlongo, Member Van der Merwe, and Member Sukars. Chair, we had departmental officials that was led by Minister Member Zulu, Honorable Zulu, and also SASSA CEO leading the SASSA entity, and also have Tlaposa, Ms. Tlaposa, the acting CEO leading the NDA. You have your obvious support staff who are always there for you. Chair, you've welcomed everyone, the departmental officials and us who were present in that meetings, and apologies were recorded for Member Pilangulu, who was attended the Salga Women's Commission. Member Hlongo was traveling abroad, and Member Fanda Merve had a bereavement, and Member Sukers had prior commitments, and then the agenda was adopted. The mover was Member Abrahams, seconded by Member Manganye, and then due to time constraints, the minutes were not adopted and were deferred to the next meeting. Chair, the minister gave their political remarks, and also and then thereafter, Chair, we receive a briefing from the DSD on their action plans, which was presented by Tunu, and outline the purpose of the presentation as follows: the purpose, the outcomes, the breakdown of audits, the progress on reversing the audit. Chair also he noted that the audit outcome of the department regressed from the prior year being an unqualified audit opinion with findings to a clean audit. Chair. Also, the findings were not resolved, mainly for the weaknesses identified in the administration of the SRD, which is the 350 grant, the reconstruction of the data files that were lost in 2021, the fire in KZN, and also the SOCPEN not validating marital status of applicants. And also there's possible fraud in testing of expenditure and compliance. Chair. Further details were in the presentation, Chair. We also received a briefing from the NDA. Also, Chair, Member Tlaposa, Ms. Tlaposa, the acting CEO, took the committee through the presentation on the action plans, and also, Chair, the audit findings that included identified by the AG includes the non-submission of documents, the functionality of criteria, a functional criteria of miscalculation, the members serving on 2 committees in confirmation of the policy, on also bid documents that did not specify minimum threshold for local content, and also the COVID-19 transactions not being reported to National Treasury, also SCM control deficiencies, and the expense for UIF, etc. Chair. And then thereafter, Chairperson, we proceeded with the SASSA Chair, and then the CFO Chair presented the findings for the 2021-22 audit findings, Chair, and also the number of issues. The progress thus far is that there are 6,935 data filed to the value of 38,277,708 that have been created to date, and then 139 data files scanned to COFAX scanning solution, and there are also other progress thus far that was reported, Chair. And then we also get an update, Chair, from the SASSA grant, as we are aware that in September we had that SASSA, the crisis of beneficiaries not being paid. And then Member Brent, Mr. Brent Van Vrede, the executive manager, made a presentation before the committee on the non-payment of old age grant and disability grant on the schedule for the 5th and 6th of September. There was an issue about the system glitch, which prevented the pension grants from being timeless available to grant holders. Chair, also the technical grant failed with e-withdrawals. This means that Postbank had to be manually refunded all grant holders, and this has taken some time as had to occur. Chair, also, Chair, they acknowledge the problems that occurred because of poor communication, because the committee also raised sharply the issue of non-communication to communities to make them aware of the challenges regarding their payments of social grant. And they also acknowledged that they had a poor communication to grant holders. And then they also mentioned that there's also a post-bank toll-free number. It's also being congested and inaccessible to grant holders, and an increase in numbers visiting local offices requiring assistance. And Chair, SASSA requested Postbank to improve its communication strategy to public. Chair, and then also, Chair, there's also SASSA also informed the committee that there will be a joint press briefing by the Minister from the Social Development and from the Communication, where they would update the nation about the progress made to address the challenges. There were deliberations, Chair, made by the committee on the matter of the AG, as well as the update on the non-payment of grant beneficiaries. And also, Chair, the members were not happy about the presentation. With the AG acknowledged they noted that the presentation on AG action plan only showed resolve without any more specific details. The issue raised by the AG involved public interest, such as non-payment of grants. The presentation should have included more details on how the findings were resolved, Chair. And then the AG's view on the result finding, the committee wanted to know whether AG had accepted the resolved matters. The DSD responded that the AG was satisfied with the progress made, and it is part of the audit committee. The repeat findings are minimal and are dealt with as soon as they are qualified. Chair, the members also raised the issue of SRD grant. It shows that the system shows that clients qualified and are receiving SRD grants, but they are not. There is also that challenge. Chair, the members also expressed concern that there was still no improvement in the payments of grants, even though a service provider was appointed to maintain the system. To date, there are people who have not received their grant, and it was clear that SASSA is failing to carry out its legislative mandate. Chair. And they also responded that the system was upgraded and maintained. It was post-bank system. The current payment contract is with Postbank and not SAPO. The department is engaged with Postbank, SASSA, and SASSA CO as well as the DG of the Department of Communication on this matter, Chair. There was an issue about the KZN banned SASSA files. The committee wanted to know which office had banned files and the process that was followed to determine the data for write-off. And then also there was an issue of repeat offender on price inflation, Chair. And then also the department responded to that. There was also a matter of SCM on market-related prices. The committee wanted to know what the department was doing to address the issue of repeat offenders who continuously make mistakes in supply in SCM processes. The committee was of the view that some mistakes should have been done if officials were properly trained and have relevant qualifications. A thorough investigation, as a response from the department, they responded that a thorough investigation was conducted to determine the market pricing, which would guide the department whenever its source quotations. All officials within SCM obtain all necessary qualification and credential required to perform their duties. There's also a timelines on unresolved AG findings, Chair. Also, the department responding to that. Chair, there was an issue about the SOC pen and verification of mental status. The committee wanted to know the mental verification is applicable to all types. And if that's the case, it was worrisome based on the inputs the committee received from the public hearing on the Older Persons Amendment Bill, which called for the means test on the old AGM to be removed. And then the department responded to that. There's also an internal audit. The committee wanted to know how efficient is the department's internal audit. And the department responded that all officials in the finance have qualifications and they need to be skilled on new developments in the market. Also, with regard to oversight role of the committee acknowledged that it needs to strengthen its oversight on the recurring findings raised by the EG. The department and entities must report the causes of recurring findings and how they are being addressed to ensure they do not recur. There should be detailed progress reports. The recurring findings cannot be accepted, especially at the time close to the end of the term. And then the committee expressed appreciation to the minister and SASSA CEO for always being available to MPs when they call them for assistance. It also appreciated that in her political remarks, the minister highlighted the challenges faced by the social development portfolio, which some are identified by the members. We move to the NDA chair. There was an issue of turnaround strategy that was highlighted, and then the committee wanted to know the progress made implementing the turnaround strategy. I think also in this BRRR, there was an issue around this turnaround strategy where it was clearly what does it entail, Chair. And I'll move to SASSA, and then the non-payments of grants, Chair. The committee members informed SASSA that they were still receiving reports on non-payment of old age grants and disability grants, Chair. And then they view this as a serious concern because it affects elderly people with disability who have been going through the post office few times, and also noted that the concern that the SASSA's update on non-payment, it seems it was shifting the blame to Post Bank, another government entity. The presentation also gave an impression that it was Post Bank that had challenges and the SASSA had done everything it needed to do. However, if it was DSD and SASSA that entered into the contractual agreement with Post Bank, also beneficiary applied to SASSA because it is its legislative mandate to administer social grant. Chair, the committee expressed appreciation for the assistance that was provided by SASSA CEO Mr. Van Vrede for sharing contact details of Post Bank officials who were also responsive. SASSA also responded, Chair, there was an issue of congested online platforms, and the committee raised concern that all platforms to make follow-up, like toll-free numbers and emails, were congested and not useful. This was disturbing because it affected the most vulnerable population of the country. Also, the people in the rural areas cannot access this platform because there is no connection. What council and national leaders are the ones that can be used to disseminate information. And then there was also a response that Post Bank does not have a large capacity line, and SASSA has raised this with it, and it was looking at alternative channel for balance inquiries. In rural areas, retailers collect cases and report to Post Bank. It welcomed the suggestion for using councillors and also the traditional leaders. Chair, there was also an issue about the press statement. The committee raised a concern that statements were issued by the Post Bank and SASSA, which MPs circulated to the public. This statement gave the impression that the challenge of non-payment of grants was resolved, which MPs soon learned that they were not. This discredited the press statements. The committee hoped that the press conference scheduled for 14th of, which is the following day, of September, will give more insight, even though it will be after the committee meeting. This meant that there was a likelihood that there might information that was not shared with the committee. Chair, also SASSA responded to that. SASSA's response was the backlog case. It was almost complete. So omitted to read something to this effect. Chair, there also 74 million footed and irregular expenditure. The committee wanted to know if an investigation was conducted to identify the perpetrator. And the SASSA responded that this was a backlog case and it was almost completed, and the process to identify the perpetrators was underway. There was also a concern regarding the slow progress on disciplinary hearing cases, and also the digitization of files, and SASSA responded, Chair. The committee, SASSA was requested to forward a progress report on these cases and a breakdown on irregular footless cases, bent files, and details of the newly appointed service provider who will do the tracing of the task. The committee wanted to know progress made in digitization of beneficiary records, including the task file. And then the SASSA responded that there were around 12,000 bent files that still need to be reconstructed, it hoped that the assistant of the service provider, there would be speedy progress. The committee wanted to know the timeline to conclude the fees negotiation between SASSA and Postbank, and then in closure of SAPO branches. The committee wanted to know the impact of the closure of the SAPA branches and implication to the beneficiaries. They responded that the closure of branches would remain a challenge. Chair, there were a number of resolutions made by the committee, and then that the SASSA to provide the committee with progress report on SASSA cards that would expire end of December. The CFO of SASSA to forward the committee a matrix that provides a breakdown on the progress made on 37 cases of irregular expenditure. The committee scheduled an emergency meeting with PC and Communication and Digital Technologies on the system challenges at Postbank. The South African Banking Association to be invited also. Chair, these are the set of minutes captured for the meeting of the 13th of September for your consideration and approval. Thank you, Chair.
Excuse me. Thank you, Lindy. It was a long meeting. Eh?
Yeah.
But let's get comments from the honorable members. We have forgotten to say, Alex Abraham, enjoy your maternity leave, relax and don't get strained. And we'll continue. We'll take the baton from you. Don't worry. But if you feel you want to send some messages to Lindy, because you'll be able at least to write, but don't think too much. Everything is gonna be sorted and fine. Thank you very much. Congratulations to you. Then let's get whoever is going to adopt the minutes as Lindy has read them. Honorable Jane Mangan, where are you? Still in the meeting? Honorable Paul Needs?
I'm in meeting, Chair. Okay.
Yeah. We want someone who can adopt the minutes as a true reflection. Oh, Honorable Masang.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to propose the adoption of the minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Masango. Honorable Stock.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I would like to second the proposal for the adoption of the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Stock. The minutes has been adopted and seconded. The last item, Lindy.
Excuse me, Chair. The last set, Chair, is the minutes of the 20, Chair. There were 2 sets of minutes. Chair, on this one, the agenda, we receive a briefing from SASSA and Postbank on the non-payment of social grants. Also, a presentation by the Department of Social Development on their first term quarterly report. Also considered and adopted the committee report on the 4th term quarter, Chair, of DSD, and also we adopted the minutes, Chair. Chair, members that were present on this day, you, Chair, Member Mvana, Member Pilangulu, Member Stock, Member Peterson, Member Manganye, Member Hlongo, Member Masango, Member Abrahams, we have Member Aris, Member Mare, we have Member Van der Merwe, and Member Sukers. We had departmental officials, Chair, and led by the Minister and Chairperson. We also have the support staff as usual. Apologies were received from Member Sukers, who was unable to attend due to prior commitments. The agenda, Chair, the Chairperson propose an amendment to the agenda to receive a briefing from SASSA and Postbank on the non-payment of social grant. And the members agree on that amendment. Member Manganye proposed for the adoption of the agenda with amendments, and her proposal was seconded by Member Fana Merve, Chair. And then we considered the minutes of the 31st of May, Chair, and then the mover was Member Masango, seconded by Member Pelangulu. The minutes were adopted without amendments. Chair, we also went to adopt the fourth term quarterly report and expenditure of the SD, and then you tabled the program, the report for consideration adoption, and then Member Masango moved for the adoption of the report without amendments, and her motion was seconded by Member Pelangulu. Chair, we received a briefing from the department. Here, the ADG, Mr. Mchunu, gave a high-level overview and contextual analysis of the department's performance for the first quarter. He reported that in 2023-24 annual performance plans, the department had given full attention to all commitments that lacked and targets that had not been fully achieved previously, Chair. And then the department achieved 80% of its set targets, while 16% of the targets were not achieved. This was the highest achievement compared to the 80% achievement in the previous year, or 2022-2023. Chair, also the department was continuing to host a series of public hearings on draft policy on social development services to persons with disability, to solicit public comments in this regard. In this regard, DSD has partnered with the provincial DSDs and their district to mobilize NGOs, DPOs, persons with disabilities. At the time of reporting, 21 of the 28 public hearings had already been conducted in 8 provinces. Chair. The deliberation, the committee deliberated, the deliberations on the first quarter report will be contained in the committee report on this quarter. And then we come to the update on the non-payment of social grant. Mr. Mchunu gave an update on the payment of social grant and indicated that they had, as executive, they had a number of meetings trying to resolve the matter. He reported that because the issue was because of the switch situation that Postbank had changed. And then also said that members of the public have been informed on the various communication channels that were put in place to offer swift assistance, including WhatsApp lines, email lines, and other communication channels where people could reach the department or Postbank to try and resolve the problem. And that also the TSD had also ensured the staff, both of the SASSA and Postbank, were on the ground, engaging with members of the public, getting a sense of the challenges and addressing them immediately. He confirmed that all the matters about the financial changes experienced had been resolved, all the money had been paid, had been put into every recipient's account. Also, we just get some overview from the CEO of Postbank, Ms. Nikki Mbengashe, who apologized to the committee for the delays caused by the switch. In her background overview, reported that the change of the switch was to ensure not only compliance to the variation notice issued by the South African Reserve Bank on the 17th of December 2021 with the deadline of 17th December this year. Furthermore, the switch was also to curb and stop fraud associated with the previous vendor system as identified by the KPMG investigation mandated on the 17th August 2022 and completed and issued in 2023 July. The move of the switch was also part of the card replacement program approved by the board on the 28th of July 2023. Chair. And she elaborated, which the members, I think they were very robust in engaging the DSD, SASSA, and the Postbank on their failure to carry this mandate, Chair. So I don't think I need to elaborate because there was a robust and active interaction with them. Can I go to the deliberation, Chair? on this. There was an issue about the late submission of the presentation. The committee explained the concept position on update of the non-payment, and the presentation was submitted late, and then which the department responded to. Also, there was also the status of SASSA card renewals. The members also expressed a concern that and fears that the cards will expire in December 2023, the gold cards. Can they be extended to an extended date? It wanted to know what assurance can be given that this challenge will not happen again. Will the Post Bank and SASSA meet the South African Reserve Bank deadline of renewal of these by end of December this year? Also SASSA responded that the Post Bank has developed a plan that has been consulted with SASSA and the Reserve Bank. The plan aims to ensure that the variation process does not expire in December. The committee will be updated at a later stage. Chair, there was also an update on the payment of old age grants, disability grants, and poor communication. Also in this one, the committee expressed their skepticism on the report that all social grants clients have been paid, because they were still receiving calls from clients who were complaining that they had not received their grants. It was also not acceptable to report that 99 beneficiaries were paid, because 1% people who still have not been paid, and they made it strongly about the non-payment of social grant share. The committee also reiterated their serious concern over the persistent poor communication from SASSA, Post Bank, and DSD to their clients and the committee chair. And the committee also requested the usefulness of the war room and the upgrading of the payment system for not anticipating the system error. Chair, there was also issue of the transaction cost that was raised. Also, the set payment dates. Chair, the committee wanted to know if it was possible to revert to the fixed payment dates of social grants, because these changes in dates causes confusion to the beneficiaries. Chair, there was also an issue about the 15 billion underspending. The committee sought clarity on the newspaper's article that reported that the DSD returned 15 billion to the National Treasury that was allocated for social grants. The committee also raised a concern that the article was one-sided in that the department side was not reported. This seems to be taking advantage of the payment classes and possibly aimed at causing agitation to the public. The department had also reported that the committee about this as savings incurred from the budget that was allocated for the payment of the SRD grant payments, and the stringent means test. National Treasury then allocated the money to other competing priorities of the country. There was also an issue about the social relief of distress share and also the alternative service provider. The committee wanted to know if the Minister of the Social Development was considering an alternative service provider, because it was apparent that Post Bank was failing to deliver on its contractual obligation. The department should take this matter to the ministerial forum to consider an alternative service provider. Also, with regard to the partnership with Standard Bank, the committee sought clarity if the Post Bank secured the service of Standard Bank. How was the bank selected in the absence of the board? How was the decision taken? Was it done at an additional cost? The Post Bank responded that was not creating a new partnership with the bank. The bank was appointed by Reserve Bank to be a sponsored Post Bank when it needs technical assistance. The Reserve Bank specified technical support that Standard Bank should provide. 7 technicians were made available to assist Post Bank between the next month, the next payment run in October 2023. The whole arrangement is guided by the Reserve Bank, the framework chair. There's also the impact issue of the impact of resignation of board members. The committee wanted to know how the resignation of Post Bank board members affect payment for social grant. How long will it take to appoint a new board? And then the Post Bank reported that there is also they appointed an administrator who has taken the role of the board in the interim. Payment of grants is an operational matter that is handled by the executive. The issue of the feeling of critical pose was also noted. Considering the dire financial constraints of Postbank, the committee wanted to know if the recommendation to fill the vacant post would be implementable. Also, National Treasury has imposed a moratorium on the filling of posts. The Postbank responded that the moratorium does not apply to the vacancies that had already been funded. It also allows for motivation to fill critical roles. Postbank is financially viable. It is the post office that has financial constraints. Chair, there was an issue around the effectiveness of the payment system. The committee raised several questions on this matter. It questioned how fraudulent calls were not detected by the system. How was a follow-up made on these calls to hold the perpetrators accountable? What was the time frame on the system upgrade, and was it communicated to the people? It cannot be accepted that vulnerable and poor had to go through what they went through because of a system glitch. What assurance can be given to that the system challenges will not be experienced in the future? And also there was a response given by the Postbank with regard to the services, to older persons. And the committee wanted to know, is it possible for SASSA to drop off application form at residential facility instead of elderly having to stand in queues? What is SASSA plans as Postbank has defaulted on service level agreements? There were resolution made on this meeting, and then the committee proposed that it dependent Postbank and SASSA to convene another press briefing on the progress report it has made to the committee. The press statements cannot reach out to all people, especially those in the rural. The committee resolved to call an urgent joint meeting with the PC on communication and digital technologies. And the meeting adjourned and at 13:35, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair. These are the proceedings that were captured on a meeting held on the 20th of September for your consideration and adoption. And thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Lindy. Can I get honorable members to adopt the minutes as a true reflection? Basekhona abantu nabetu.
Basekhona, Chair.
Chair, the mover adoption of this minutes.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Manganyi. Can I get the seconder?
Chair will second the adoption of the
Okay.
minutes.
Honorable Polnit seconds. I can see that Honorable Mati wanted also to second. Thank you ever so much. The next item, Lindy.
That the minutes concludes the deliberations for the day, Chair. There is no any item for discussion, Chair. Just safe to say that, Chair and members, I won't be part of the public hearing scheduled for next week, but there will be a committee secretary who will take who will replace me, and I wish you all the best. I'll be writing on that Monday. Thank you very much, Chair.
Good luck, Lindy, for your exams. Umuntu omdala akafirishi upasoko kuthiwa goduka upase wonke. We hope you all the best. But can you also give us the logistics?
I don't know whether Fungile is part of the meeting. I don't see him here. I will speak as a with secondary information, because the primary information is from Fungile. I believe that members' initial arrangement to fly on Friday morning didn't materialize due to flights that were fully booked and delays in approval processes. And then the arrangements are as follows. Members are scheduled to attend a plenary on Thursday the 19th, and then it starts from 2 until 5:30. And then Fungile, I advise Fungile to book a flight at 17:30 to Joburg, and then you sleep at Joburg, and then you take the first flight to, is it Khartoum? There is a place, because there's no flight straight to Uppington on that day, but there is another airport that you can fly to, which is Khartoum, and then you drive about as an hour or 2 hours to the public hearings. But you will make public hearings on time because the flight in Joburg is early. Thank you very much. Those are the logistics I can remember. From my side, administratively, Chair, all the letters were written, and then to the speakers and the MMs and mayors, Chair, and then the venues for all the public hearings have been secured, and then the mobilization has been done by the public education office. I don't foresee us experiencing any challenges as far as the mobilization is concerned, Chair. So I think from my side, that's all I can report. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Lindy. I think Fungile is also communicating direct with us in the group in terms of other logistics. But if there are any changes from what you are saying, he will definitely inform us so that we are aware of. You know, Lindy, what I like as an adult is to hear where are we going to sleep and when are we going to go to that Khartoum thing or Khartoum airport. If possible, let's request Fungile to give us full information. I don't like this thing of being told in the morning that, okay, you sleep over in this area and this, because we do have plans like any other older people, old people. Thanks ever so much, Lindy. You did very well. We hope that at least out of the difficult work that you experience, and you'll pass your exams with flying colors. Thanks ever so much. Thank you to all the honorable members that managed to join, and even to those that couldn't manage to join. I know Honorable Aris couldn't join. Maybe she's still celebrating for the...
No, she joined.
She joined?
Yeah, she joined, yes.
Okay, I thought she's still celebrating. She has won the award. Congratulations to her. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Wish all the best. Then we'll see one another tomorrow in the plenary and in the airport, at the airport when we are flying out to Khartoum airport. Thanks. The meeting has adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Enjoy your maternity leave and relax. Elevate the feet and everything and put a cushion underneath, etc., etc.
I'm going to end the meeting for everyone.